Hi guys, and welcome back to Dan's Kitchen Garden and Allotment. On today's episode we're down the allotment and we have a few bits and pieces to do. Things like starting to weed these beds and mulch them. Finally the rain has stopped, but it's very cold. The beds need to be done, so let's get these beds done. So what I'll do is I'll just bring the camera closer and explain more about the beds. So then guys, I was trying to explain to you about this bed. I was recording, going back to the camera, and for some reason there was no sound on the video, and I thought, what the bloody hell's going on with this new system I've got? I've got no sound at all. I was looking around, I was making sure all the cables were in and stuff like that, and there was still no sound. And then I noticed in the one in my pocket, I remembered that these contain batteries, and the battery had run out on this. So there was no sound being transmitted to the camera. That's the only downfall I've found so far with these, is there should be a little beep or something like that to let you know that the batteries are getting low in the system. But now we've got the sound back on. So then in this bed there was the butternut squash last year and them little green pumpkins. So the plan is to dig it all out, to get all the weeds out. And in one of the compost bins there I have got horse muck filled up to the top from last year's supply, so it should be, the seeds should be dead in it, good enough to go onto the beds. So what I normally do is I normally fill up one compost bin right up with horse manure, and then every year, this time of year, I'll go along and do one bed a year. So last year it was this bed here. This year it's this bed, the following year it'll be that bed, and just on a rotational stock. But having the other allotment now, I can put a few more compost bins up there and do it in a more of a vastly scheme. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my boots on, my gardening gloves. Last thing is my spade. This ground ready. So I'll put the camera on hold at the moment, on pause, and I'll bring you back in a bit. So then guys, as you can see, that bed is being completely dug over now. The ground is really clay. As you can tell, I took my coat off and my hat because I was just getting too hot doing this. So as I said to you before, we go along and now we put some horse muck onto this ground. So let me show you where the horse muck is. So then, as I've said, this is where I've kept the horse muck over the year. It should be quite good and broken down. It's the first time I've opened it, the first time I've had a look. Wow, that's come down loads. Remember, this pot was literally full right up to the top. And now I can actually see I can actually see inside that garlic is trying to grow. What I'll do is I'll bring the camera up closer so I can show you. As I said, it has dropped right down. It started off at the start of the year right up the top of here, but now it's just dropped right the way down, and as you can see, garlic is trying to grow in it. There's some eggs of some sort, I'm not too sure, so I've got a comment in the description below, tell me what type of eggs they are. Let's get this top off and have a look to see what it's like. So then, let's have a look. Solid. If a rat runs out at me, you'll hear me scream. That has broken down absolutely lovely. This top stuff's all dried up, so it's still okay to go onto the ground. This is just lovely, lots of worms in it. So I'm going to get on and putting this on that little bit of ground, and I'll bring you back in a bit. So then I've put about 2 barrow loads on the top of this. Should be more than enough to give it a little feed over the winter. The only thing I don't want to do is dig it in. I'll leave it sitting on top. The worms can work their way down, and it can feed the ground. And then coming along in the springtime, I'll come along and I will chuck some bloodfish and bone as well. Also, I will do something else in a minute. I'll just finish off this job. Don't worry about it. If it's a little bit clumpy, they just break down in the surface with the weather what's coming. Feed in this bucket consists of chicken pellet, bloodfish and bone, so I'll just chuck that on top as well, just to feed the ground over the winter so the nutrients can go back into the ground. Just give it a little rake again on top. This won't get dug at all now until springtime. If I see any weeds germinating, I'll just go along with a trowel and I'll just take them off with a trowel. But that is another bed done. So that bed is ready for the spring now. As I said, the ground is very clayey, but it's dug, it's finished. It's been treated with horse muck, bloodfish and bone and chicken pellet. So now that'll be left for the whole year until springtime, and then we'll come along and do some planting in it. Lots of worms in that horse muck, so obviously they'll bring that down into the compost underneath. And also doing it this way, it will break down the clay over time. So now it is near enough 1:45. So then guys, just had some lunch, but unfortunately the cable what connects my bowyer to the phone has snapped. If you can see the top part, it's just completely snapped. So I've had to order a new one online. Hopefully it'll come very shortly and you guys will be... So then the job we're going to do now is give the sides of the grass a cut, because they need... So as you can see, I've cut all the sides of the grass now. I was going to put you on time lapse, but I thought I'd just get it done quickly. So then guys, unfortunately breaking that cable was really iffed me off. So I've ordered a new one, it should be here very soon. But I've done a bit today, I've got that bed done. And I've also sorted out the compost where the blue horse manure was. So guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you watch this video and you're not a subscriber, please make sure that you push the subscribe button and make sure that the bell notification is switched on at all times to notify you every time I upload a video. If you have any questions, comments, or just want a general chit chat, put it in the comment section below. I'll catch you in the next one.